Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, we decided to go into town after having a sort of a life-reflecting moment looking out the window. And we've come across Yuko. So let's get started. I really have no idea how to address her either, given that she is technically school staff as well, apparently a waitress. Yes, She quickly paces up to the counter before flinging her upper half downwards in overreactive bow. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know. Well, some coffee, please? Yes, certainly. I'll make it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Thanks. Yugo's formality takes me aback. She seems to take her job very seriously. Obeying her instructions, I turned around and quickly glanced around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, this is a simple task to accomplish. As I walked towards the table adjacent to the window, I noticed a flash of yellow around one of the table's dividers. Sure enough, no more than a glance is needed to ascertain that it is a certain Satao at the table. That said, I don't recognize the suited figure across the table from her. Blonde, fair-skinned, and only a little shorter. He? She? I think she must be a relative. Since the two are all but silent as the suited figure takes a swig of a cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lilly. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her, after all. Hi, Lilly. Asao? Yeah, nice to see you again. The suited girl looks up, noticing my uniform with a relaxed smile. Know each other? I guess. It's as good as an approximation of our relationship as I can think of. Care to take a seat? She says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough that I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introductions might be in order. Asao, this is Akira Satao, my older sister. Akira, this is Asao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Looks like my guess was correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is the almost analytical gaze with which she looks me over. As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table and carefully places the coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realize that it's already at just the right temperature to drink. After taking a sip, the flavor turns out to be just as good as the temperature. Yuko seems a lot better at this than being a librarian. I take a good, long drink before relaxing into the seat. It takes mere seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end. Apparently, becoming quickly bored with the activity, she turns to her sister. So, how's school recently? It seems Akira is entirely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all listening to everything they say. Not that I mind, leaving them to their chatting. I sit back and continue drinking the pleasantly aromatic coffee. Coffee. I don't know why I just said it that way. I just did I say it like that? And that I repeated myself saying the thing that I probably didn't say. Anyway. Sounds like it's pretty busy for you then. At least I'm not cooking your meals after school anymore. As they talk, I slowly realize that I'm entirely unable to gauge Lily's emotions through her eyes, as I would for any other person. It becomes slightly unsettling as I subconsciously focus on that fact. Wow, so cold. Weren't you just cooking for yourself anyway? I only ever got leftovers. That's not the point. Are you managing to feed yourself at least? I could cook without blowing myself up, you know. Mostly. That's fine, it's fine. I need to learn sometime anyway. Lily? Everyone present is momentarily distracted by Yuko, who passes a cup of tea on the table for Lily. Taking a moment to glance at her watch, Akira levers herself off her seat and gives a quick nod. Well, I better be off. It's nice to talk to you, Lilly. Akira, do you have to... Lilly looks genuinely mournful at her sister's sudden leaving. It does seem like she might have the wrong idea. Sorry, I need to get back to work. They'll be on my neck if I don't make it back quickly. So informal. Akira's trim and tidy appearance would give anyone the wrong impression of her. Bye, Akira. Come on, don't look so down. I'll be around again soon. See yas. I don't know why I gave her an accent. I guess maybe it's the way that she's written. Sounds very country girl-esque, even though she looks prim and proper. With that, she waltzes out of the Shanghai with her hands held high. Lily still looks pretty depressed, so I try to make some small talk in effort to take her mind off of it. She seems nice. We used to live together, but now that I live at school, we hardly ever see each other. Despite Lily having been quite affable, I still don't really know much about her. In hindsight, it's surprising just how much she extracted from me, really. You used to live together? Was it somewhere around here? It was pretty far south, so the trip to Mimako was fairly long. With her working hours getting longer and Yamako being so far away, there was little choice in the end but to move into the dormitories. Well, that explains the chatter about cooking. Evidently regaining her composure, she livens back up, at least in part. I take it you're better rested now? Sorry? You look less exhausted than you did when we first came in. Oh, you sound less... I can't believe that I subconsciously said look. Holy crap. It actually says sound there for people that may only be listening to my voice. You sound less exhausted. Wow. This is something that I may have talked about in other parts, but I have a tendency to autocomplete. I've done a lot of reading in my life, so I've learned how to skim through text. So I autocomplete when I see certain words in succession, and it's like a blessing and a curse because I can read quickly, but at the same time when I'm reading out loud, I may be misinterpreting the things that I'm saying out loud. I try my best to concentrate more on it, and it's actually the reason why I stutter a lot that I find is I'm looking at it and then my mind catches up with my mouth and I'm like, well, shit. Or vice versa in this case. You sound less exhausted than you did when you first came in. To be able to pick out my breathing like that, she must have pretty good ears. Yeah, ended up walking all over town despite only planning on taking a short walk down here. Oh goodness, speaking of fucking tired. I have to go to bed after this, that's for darn sure. Reminded of my thirst from the walk, I lean forward to take a sip. Without further ado, Lily starts on her cup of strong-smelling tea. I guess I'd better get going back to Yamaku. There's only so long I can stall studying for, and I want to get a good night's sleep before the festival. Standing from my seat, I take the coffee-stained cup from the table. You're leaving? Yeah, you going to head back as well? It's getting kind of late. For a moment she pauses before lifting her face over her teacup as if she was looking at me. Yuko, could we have one more coffee, please? Okay, I'll bring it right away. That's not subtle. She gives a short giggle at my frank assessment of her maneuver. It's surprisingly childish and carefree given her otherwise collected appearance. In the end, though, I have little reason to refuse. To be honest, I can hardly say no, all things considered. Giving a manufactured sigh, I take a seat opposite her. Wanting company, then? I'd say that it's more of that. I was wondering. I see she is in questioning mode again. She does seem to be unusually interested in me, or at least curious. Do you have any siblings? Not exactly an unexpected tangent. No, only child. To be honest, the idea of having someone that close makes me a bit envious. Interesting. I raise an eyebrow, which of course goes unseen. The short silence communicates the question well enough. It's just that the others have said the same thing before. It's a difficult subject to try and think about objectively, given that I've always had someone like that. I can mostly understand what Millie means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside of a situation they've been in all their life. She and her sister must be have a pretty close relationship. Taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible, Yuko dutifully comes over and places the cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back, taking in this vexing girl in front of me. Despite always seeming to be on her guard and in control of herself when talking to others, she has an almost childlike curiosity about other people. That said, those rare moments she seems to slightly lower her guard are the most insightful into how she thinks. Reaching forward for my drink, I realize I probably should have noticed earlier. I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. Aw, and then they sat and they had coffee and talked about nothing. Whenever they do scene transitions like that, I mean, it's just sort of like those like random cuts that you see in anime and all that type of stuff is like right after the funny event or whatever. Like, do people just sort of stare at one another? That awkward moment, though the scene itself is awkward, the actual most awkward moment of that type of stuff is not to see the aftermath of it, right? That's why you see a lot of like in like pieces of literature in movies and things where the characters just leave for no reason, right? That you're like they're in the middle of doing something, they get caught and they have an awkward moment, and then for some reason they just say, "I'm leaving." It's just to give a finality to a scene that in otherwise real life it wouldn't happen that way. It's sort of like when you go to the shopping mall and you order like a cup of coffee or something like that, and then you're walking and you have your cup of coffee, you're all happy, but then you realize, well, crap, I was supposed to go left instead of when I turned right. But then you feel this awkward feeling of, well, what if the person that just saw me walk off to the right is now seeing me walk back and go in the opposite direction? And you've got that weirdness to it. So I always like that. Like when stuff cuts, you're just like, well, what happened afterwards, right? Did something silly happen, or is it just the same stuff? Despite making good pace, it's already nightfall by the time I reach the large iron gates in front of the school. While it's nice to have plenty of time to wander around by virtue of living right next to the school, I can't help but get the feeling that very few students actually take the opportunity. Compared to the number of students I see milling around on campus during free time, it's strangely rare to see anyone around town. Given the large number of accommodations and facilities that the school offers, many of them might simply not see any point in venturing outside, let alone people such as Hanako and Kenji. It makes me wonder if students like Shizune, Misha, and Lily are the exception for this school, rather than the norm. As I wander back to my dorm room, I continue to compare my old school to Yamaku. As I do so, I begin to be surprised that I managed to get even this used to everything that's happened to me. Interesting. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine since it's a Sunday and there's no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth. Slinging noodles. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, someone needs to go to bed. Or at least have a coffee himself. There's nothing I really need to do tonight, so here I am talking to myself about what I'm going to do after my Let's Play. Excuse me. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low-quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today, out of impulse. I'm curious if he has any plans, since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him being having built a soundproof shelter in his room, or possibly something like a fort, complete with a "No Girls Allowed" sign, and with the girls crossed out and body crudely scrawled underneath it. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clinking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack.
Who is it?
You're supposed to ask that before you open the door.
Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early.
It's not really that early.
What is it, man?
Nothing. Just gonna ask what you're gonna do today. Half the school is out there already.
Out where? Why?
What?
What? Is today special? Why are they there? Who are they? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun?
He suddenly looks more alarmed.
What day is it, man?
Yeah, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff.
What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtains closed at all time to thwart the snipers.
The festival. You know that, right?
Oh shit, that's today? Damn. Damn it. Can't believe I forgot, and I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad.
Holy crap. He actually called the fort. This
is going to be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is going to be a bad day.
Why?
Aw, man, they're going to be everywhere. The people outside my window socializing.
Genji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly looking very ill.
It's good to be loud. It's gonna be loud as hell. Damn. I was going to go out today, but now it's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run.
Genji seems nervous. You can even say he's majorly freaking out.
I can't believe this. So that's what today was. Damn. And I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself, and now it's here, and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but you could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished.
Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today? The weather is even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today it would be cold. It's not though, so there's no reason just to stay inside. Yeah, you should check the festival out. Genji groans and covers his face with his hands.
No, I can't do that. They'll eat me alive out there, I know it.
That has to be a joke, but he said it with such a straight face. Relatively straight.
What are you gonna do? You should hang out in here. You can help me build my fort. We might still make it if we work together.
Oh god. Did I choose wrong again? But I don't remember him asking about the fort. I don't remember that. Alright, I think I may be safe. I'm gonna say that I'm safe. I don't know, I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see at least that one, and chat with Lilly, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligations for the project?
Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spine, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow. That's in the way of my great vision. As expected of blind people.
What? Besides, I thought you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me.
Only legally.
How can you be illegally blind? Am I illegally blind cuz I have my sight? I'm having a crisis. How do you respond to that? I'm sure it's not important.
Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen.
Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just the corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same.
I can see the future of mankind. It's a dark one unless the threat of women is stifled. They are everywhere.
He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course.
I'm going to have to find some place to hide in a safe haven, and then knock the lights out myself so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival.
Okay.
Later, dude.
The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. I guess we'll ponder on that one, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So take care, guys, and stay frosty.